Hello, Ehe friends. Today we will be reading The Man Who Walked Between Two Towers. This is a biography book about the famous Philippe Petit. Once there were two towers, side by side. They were each a quarter of a mile high, 1,340 feet, the tallest buildings in New York City. A young man saw them rise in the sky. He was a street performer. He rode a unicycle and he juggled balls and fiery torches. But most of all, he loved to walk and dance on a rope he tied between two trees. He looked not at the towers, but at the space between them, and he thought, what a wonderful place to stretch a rope, a wire onto which to walk. Once the idea came to him, he knew he had to do it. If he saw 3 balls, he had to juggle, and if he saw 2 towers, he had to walk. That's just how he was. Hadn't he danced on a wire between the steeples of the Notre Dame Cathedral above his amazed home in the city of Paris? Why not here? Why not between these 2 towers? Of course, he knew that. As in Paris, the police and the owners of the towers would never allow it. "You must be crazy," they would say. "You'll fall for sure." And so Philippe, that was the young man's name, began to plan to do it secretly. The buildings are not quite finished, he thought. Maybe if I dressed up as a construction worker. Early on in August, and an August evening, he and a friend entered the South Tower. They got a 440-pound reel of cable and other equipment into the elevator. It took him to the unfinished top 10 floors, and he waited till nightfall when everyone had gone, and then he carried everything up 180 stairs to the roof. At midnight, on the other tower's roof, 2 more friends tied a thin, strong line to an arrow and shot it across to Philippe, 140 feet away. If it missed and it landed on a ledge 15 feet below of the roof, bad luck, thought Philippe. He crawled down to the ledge, over the sparkling city, and got the arrow. To its line he tied a stronger line, which his friends pulled back to their tower. To his end of the stronger line, Philippe tied a cable onto which he would walk. It was 7/8 of an inch thick, about this thick. His friends pulled the cable over to their tower, but it was so heavy that it slipped from Philippe's grip. The cable's middle plummeted toward the street, pulling the friends on the other side of the tower to the very edge. Philippe, just in time, secured his end. It took 3 hours to pull the cable back. Frantically, as the stars faded, they tightened in between the 2 towers. It was past dawn before they were ready. Philippe put on his black shirt and his tights. He picked up his 28-foot balancing pole. All his life, he had worked to be here, to do this. As the rising sun lit up the towers, out he stepped onto the wire. And here he is. Out to the very middle he walked, as if he were walking on the air itself. Many winds whirled up from between the towers, and he swayed with them. He could feel the towers breathing. He was not afraid. He felt alone and happy and absolutely free. Here he is again. A woman coming from the subway might have been the first to see him. Look, someone's walking on a wire between the towers, right here. Oh, got this part. Everyone stopped and looked up. They gasped and stared. It was astonishing. It was terrifying and beautiful. A quarter of a mile up in the sky, someone was dancing. And of course, the police saw it too. Officers rushed to the roofs of the towers. "You're under arrest," they shouted with their bullhorns. Philippe turned and walked away. Who would come and get him? For almost an hour, back and forth, he walked, he danced, he ran, he knelt in a salute on the wire. He even lay down to rest. The city and the harbor spread beneath him. The sky surrounded him. Seagulls flew under and over him. As long as he stayed on the wire, he was free. When he felt completely satisfied, he walked back to the roof, and he held out his wrists for the handcuffs. They brought him to the court, and the judge sentenced him to perform in the park for the children of the city. This did really happen. Though during one of his performances, there were some boys playing, and they pulled on the wire, and Philippe fell. And luckily, he caught himself. Now, the towers are gone. But in memory, as if imprinted on the sky, the towers are still there. As part of a memory is this joyful morning on August 7th, 1974, when Philippe Petit walked between them in the air. And that is our story, The Man Who Walked Between Two Towers.